You hear the teacher saying 5 minutes left, and this is when the ticking of the clock lets itself be heard at a greater rate. You continue scribbling and scribbling to the point that the lead of your pencil might just break. You're trying to answer a math question, by the way, if so don't know. But still, you're running out of time and you still cannot answer the problem. 1 minute left. You heard this. And then you exploded. Really, Justine? Exploded? Well, yeah, Justify. I mean, is there anything worse than not being able to answer a math question in like a very critical examination, and then you hear 5 minutes left, then 1 minute left, and you still don't know what to do, still don't know what to answer, so... Oof. Wow. You really are invested into answering that question. Well, come on. Is there anything more important, more self-esteem inducing than being able to answer a question as tough as that, as tough as math? You know, if you're only gonna pull those thoughts out on the basis of that examination, if you think of it, it wouldn't really matter if you got the answer to the question, or even if your seatmate got the answer, or even of the seatmate of your seatmate. And why is that? Because the question's already answered. And I should actually be happy about that. Maybe, maybe not, maybe yes, maybe slight. Are you happy about that? What do you feel about it? Have you ever really pondered upon a question? Have you ever really answered the question? Have you ever really thought about... Stop! I'm gonna stop you right there. You're just spitting out questions and I don't know what to answer. What are even those questions? See what? You're starting to realize that there are more things to question about, more things to ponder upon, more things to try to answer aside from a math question that already is. Oh. That actually got me thinking. Well, Justify? Yes, Justine? So what's more important? Is it the question or the answer? And that is exactly what we'll be trying to justify. This is your Ponder podcast brought to you by Justine and Justify. Please. Oh, come on, Justify. Tell me. Okay. Calm down, please, Justine. If you'll be going directly to the answer, it'll invalidate the point of our questioning. But I need answers. Because, did I tell you, I am a human of science. A human of science, But shouldn't you be first-handedly interested on the procedure of knowing before the answer? How can you be a man of science if you wouldn't even subject to the process of questioning first? Well, easy. That hurts. That hit the spot. But yeah. I know it's important to undergo that process of thought first, but I'm just so eager to get to the answer. Be careful there, Justine. A lot of humans under the sciences, biological, chemical, physical, mathematics, social, tend to regress the importance of the process of thought, of questioning, just because they're accustomed to the technicalities of the sciences. Yeah. You know what? I've observed that too. See? I mean, they should probably be questioning too, but they don't see deeper significance in it. What I'm pointing out is that they tend to be overly defiant of the abstractions brought by deep-seated thinking, or of what we call philosophy. Well, how do you define philosophy even? What does it exactly do? It questions, it makes us think, but not just think, but to think harder and deeper. It makes us critical of whatever there is in our surroundings, or even whatever there is inside of us. So, what exactly do you get from philosophy then? What does it give you? Questions, and thoughts, and viewpoints, and arguments, and A punch on the face? Really? Kidding! If you're going to look at it though, the public, with the physical sciences, are bestowed upon a tangible creation. But quote-unquote, utility does not belong to philosophy, as Mr. Bertrand Russell stated. There are only continuous ideas and discussions which others generally, albeit naturally, resent. So, where does this exactly place us in the question of what is more important between a question and an answer? Oh, believe me, Justine, we've been trying to discuss and process that question for the past few minutes already. Well, on the basis of what? On the basis of identifying the distinction between philosophy and other academic disciplines of the sciences. Oh, right. How exactly again? Oh, let's just look at it this way. Philosophy, amongst other academic disciplines, particularly the sciences, are all directed to knowledge. But now, it is the question of who came first, of what came first. Philosophy intends to structuralize, to provide a system to the sciences. Now, this system is built through a constant flow of presuppositions and prejudgments. But this is not to say that philosophy actually adheres to solidified answers. As Mr. Bertrand Russell stated, try to ask a scientist or a mathematician about a certain topic of learning, and he'll provide you answers so long as you're interested. But ask a philosopher, he'll admittedly say to you that his or her field, philosophy that is, hasn't exactly produced much answers. So what you mean to say is that the sciences ought to produce a philosophy? Needless to say, yes. Just how you would compare it to a question producing an answer, or to make it more imaginative, of how you would compare philosophy to a tree. The roots as questions and its fruit as the answers. Oh, well come on then, stop ranting, enlighten me. Story time. Goodwill trying to be funny, Justine. Anyways, try to see it this way. We can think of philosophy and other academic disciplines as a tree in itself, the roots and the fruits as the questions and answers respectively. You start planting the seed. You then start planting confusions, problems which will soon then propagate to actual questions. This can be compared to the root of the tree, the root of philosophy. Upon the growth of the stem and branches and leaves, we can think of it as the arguments, discussions, and movements brought by the thinkers through their journey of finding answers. Now, the toughest suppositions and the nearly possible answers can then be compared to flowers. At the very end, this can only result in two things. One is fruition, or for the second one, non-fruition. Well, if it doesn't, it stays part of the question, part of the philosophy. But if it does fruit, answers, solid ones, are then reached. And just like the fruit itself can be plucked, can be picked, can be separated from the tree as the answers can be and should be from philosophy. Consider that the birth of a new solidified discipline. Whoa! Mind equals to blown. So, if you're going to highly consider it, philosophy is uncertainty. Without uncertainty, there can be no place for confusions, for questions. Now, this can only result to two things. One, if definitely answered, it's placed under a separate science. But if not, which is the second, it stays under philosophy. That is so rad. But then, haven't philosophy ever produced answers, Justify? They could have. They might have. It wouldn't be able to produce those sciences if it weren't able to in the first place. But philosophy isn't exactly focused on the output, Justine, but rather on the intention and the process of continuously questioning to further the wonders of speculation. But if that's so, we still have answers. Shouldn't philosophy give itself some rest from questioning all the time? Not exactly. It never gets tired of that, and never will. Its main purpose is to keep us expanding, never to hold so tightly on the assumption or the knowledge that something is final. Because if it does, if it ever did, knowledge stops. And once it stops, we stop existing too. Wow, that is so deep. So pure, so philosophical, totally philosophical. So, what now? Is it the answer or the question for philosophy? Let me ask you. What have you been doing for the past few minutes in between my talks? Well, asking questions. Well, does that give you an answer? This is your Ponder podcast brought to you by Justine and Justify. Peace, peace, peace.